It's our final week of PUBG Contenders, and the reason me and Toby are laughing already because the madness has already begun, and it's not just the circles and how these games will play out. Because Moonwolf, very unfortunate for these guys, 2 of their players do not currently have electricity.
Yeah.
It means they're going to forfeit the first game at least. They might try and join in a bit later on, but it comes down to whether actually they do get their electricity back. And we spoke about this many weeks ago. I think it was actually during the group stage part. Substitution players. Some teams have them and use them well. This is the key moment when you need these.
That's exactly where you want them for sure. And you see Moonwolf up at 200 points now looking at the leaderboards.
So
and
close.
honestly, they were the team with the 2nd most points overall last week, only beat by Tornado Energy. Very, very impressive week for them. So to see them miss out on the first game, hopefully not more than that, we'll have to wait and see. And that's going to be real unfortunate because that's going to leave a chance for teams like Avangar, Se7en, and Quickmath. I mean, those are the 3 teams that we could argue that are down here in the bottom right now that could, out of nowhere, pull off the most insane performances, right? They could all surpass Moonwolf because the Moonwolf is going to go 0 points in this game, right? Yeah. They could all, with a, maybe not Avangar, but with a really good game. We've seen Se7en 15 kill wins. They can do these things. Quickmath, they can easily get 1 point. I mean, that should be doable. So for Moonwolf to sit out one like that, that's not what you want to have happen.
And it's just not the way you'd also want to start off your week mentally as a team, right? If you're Moonwolf right now, yes, this can't be helped like electricity. If it goes down where you are, you're kind of screwed, you know? We're not playing with backup generators out here yet, right? We're contenders. We've not reached the level where this is a viable option for us to pay and afford for that. And in your mind, you're thinking, great, this takes another game away from us, potentially a couple of games away from us. Worst case, an entire day away from us. And I just feel so bad because they went from 12th to 9th over last week as well, remember? They were having a bad battle back and forth. We saw them in the top 8 at one point in the very early stages, and they never really got back into it. But these are the points, ladies and gentlemen. As always, you should be familiar with this now, but if you're not, if you're just tuning in for the first time, you're just saying, what the hell is going on here? This is PUBG Europe Contenders, and these are the points. If you're not within the top 8, you're getting nothing unless you get 1 kill at least, where you'll pick up 8 points.
That's what we want to go for. And speaking of kills, we saw some pretty crazy performances last week, and a player I want to really highlight, and this is Aaliyah.
Yeah, okay.
Recent pickup for Tornado Energy, jumped all the way from being in 20, I believe, something like sitting in 25th with kills overall. Yep. Jumping up into 7th now. Wow. Off of one week of games.
That's impressive.
Very, very impressive feat. 3 of the top 5 players in kills last week were all from Tornado Energy.
And that's why
Example, Millman and Aaliyah, exactly. Very impressive. And of course, we are at the 3-day schedule these days and this week out. It's the final week. Yeah. We should have big, glamorous fireworks with everything we do because it is indeed the final week.
Why are you giving away the secrets for the last day?
Oh, that's yeah. I haven't seen the broadcast manual for the last day where all the fireworks come.
Pyrotechnics, you name it. Did you not see the bit of you on a bike flipping over?
Oh yeah, that's,
we got to get you some training for that. But I said you're the most limber of the 2 of us. So
yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a full day, 24-hour broadcast of crazy things happening in the studio.
Imagine people think this is actually true. We're just getting everyone's hopes up for an amazing end to Contenders. But it will be an amazing end, at least with the teams and how things go down in general. Now, one thing, we've got space now with Moonwolf going out of the equation, right? I still don't think, because after what we saw last week, teams weren't going out and they're trying anything too crazy yet. Is this the week where it can happen still, or are we just going to say, look, they're sticking to their guns, this is kind of how they're playing out now?
I mean, let's play off of the hopes that it's only 1 game they'll be missing out on, and that's going to be 15 teams on the server, and Moonwolf is not a team to take up a lot of space early game anyway. They're a Novo / Miltapower / Lipovka looting team, so it's not that anyone really has to keep them in mind for their rotations. People don't really need to worry about them taking center spots early, unless if it's a hard Eastern shift, and you can see, of course, only 60 people on the server. For those of you guys who have had us muted until the game started, Moonwolf are indeed not here. But yeah, it's a tough break for them, and I'm just hoping that some of the guys that are sitting right around them, and both above and below them, that they won't be having their crazy games right now, because that will be a tough one to miss out on for sure. We'll see now. No tag making their way over towards school and apps. Nothing new under the sun in that regard. And I don't think anyone's really changing things up other than we need a home. They're going to go out west this time around. Playing didn't really up for Yasnaya, so it seems like they'll settle with a western split. And yeah, that's not all that bad all considered. I mean, we had a lot of Western circles, so should be all right.
By now, I think they're definitely used to it, aren't they?
You'd assume so.
It's not like, oh, we haven't seen this before. No,
Yeah.
we've had a few of these rough ones.
Might as well get out there to begin with. Hanny, he's flying on forward for AK. Well, I mean, they know that Moonwolf ain't here, so they're going to go down and take Novo. No reason for them not, so they've looted and had rotations out of Military Island plenty of times before, so might as well stick around, and why not go west indeed for We Need a Home, because the circle did go on over there.
Oh, now do we get one of our joyous quarry endings? What I love about this whole quarry ending thing, I call it joy because the teams, they've seen it now so many times that they're gambling early onto quarry.
Yeah.
And we watched it last time. It didn't go to quarry, and they went, and they just became moving targets for literally everyone. So I always like now going over this side of the world because it means that we get to understand what teams are going to really take that gamble. Who in their minds believes that, oh, well, we've had 2 or 3 of these, we can definitely have another one.
The thing is, the benefit of quarry in that area of the map, oh, goodbye, Buggy, is the fact that you have a great overview with very little obscurity. So you don't have trees all over that's blocking your vision and everything. You can see the perfect outview of Swarm. You can see all the way out to the west side. You can see the forest down south if you have both sides of the quarry area. The only issue becomes if you're sit in there for too long and let people get close to you. Well, I mean, every time you have a mountain, eventually you have to crawl down it, and that's where you'll be extremely exposed for teams to start shooting at you. So if you play the quarry area, you need to constantly keep people at bay as best as you can. And if you fail doing that, well, then maybe you shouldn't have gone quarry to begin with.
That'll be something they'll have to live and learn from. Now, I'm going to look massively here at both Quickmath and Se7en being the teams that are chasing for that spot that Moonwolf have left off here. I'd love it if Moonwolf just come back, right? Come in the next game, got all their players, and they're like, cool, doesn't let us phase us, and they just come out with some super good games. Because mentally, it's got to be so soul-destroying. You've waited all day, and this happens.
But as you said yourself, James, I mean, we are seeing multiple teams with a coach or with a 5th player even. These days, in the beginning, it wasn't really a thing, but more and more teams are starting to realize every single game matters. And if we're missing out on one because a player has internet issues, which of course can be a thing,
definitely,
then you need to have a backup plan. There has to be something you can do about it. And if the rule set is that you can only play with X amount of players off, I don't know, I remember exactly what the rules are in that regard. Then, well, I mean, then you need to be able to work your way around it.
Yeah, from how I understood it for this one, they obviously just opted not to play with just 2 players, for example.
Also, it's extra points you're giving away to your opponents if you should go down, right? So they're probably sitting and
thinking, go down for sure.
They're thinking, what can we realistically get off of this? I mean, we're going to give 2 points away, potentially, to an opponent team for not really being able to fight those fights. And sure, we can get 1 point ourselves, but is it going to add up? Is it going to work out? And if that's the case, then of course one thing. And if some could also just be that they just are not allowed to play with these 2 players. Yeah.
But they could, imagine, right? Think of this. 2 solo players, you just drop in most obscure places. You try and solo it up the whole way through.
Snake from the start.
Yep, snake from 0-0. Let's go.
Yeah, that's...
I don't recommend it, let's be honest. It's not going to be enjoyable, but...
I mean, you might get one of those people looting a building they wouldn't expect anyone to be in kind of kills, right? But fortunately, we've seen, I don't know if it's fortunate, but fortunately, we've seen so many people get killed by snakes now that it has created a kind of a safety net or a little bit of a spider sense for all players that every time they approach any building, doesn't matter how weird it would be if there's one in there, they always make sure to double and triple check everything.
Well, it was my lazy peek one. Remember when they would start turning corners? Have a good look. But in their minds, they've already cleared it, right?
Yeah.
So then they turn away and you watch them then go down. And you're thinking, well, you didn't actually peek it, did you? You didn't actually clear out the corner.
Yeah.
You went across. You're in your mind already for it'll be safe. And that's where you've just tricked yourself.
You flick your mouse over and back again without really worrying about it.
They do it for like aesthetics, I'm sure. It's like, haha, like I'm just looking.
Exactly.
This is an interesting one. Zen out in the open. We've got no tag team nearby. Some nades going out already. Nice bit of damage done onto Vazku. He's got to be careful. T-Bone's going to throw him back, though, try and force no tag team away. O'Connell's still prone in the ground, but a nice setup here from no tag team.
Yeah.
The one thing they do have to be careful of, though, is other teams nearby, because they're not in an area that is, like, very easy for them to hide up in. You've got PG18 near, Gamerlegion, Winside. There's plenty of teams close by that we're hearing this going on, and these guys are not being quiet.
And that's the third thing, right? I mean, you do not want to have these fights in the open if there are teams around they can shoot. You can see how open O'Connell is. Every time he peeks up on this hilltop, teams, as you said, from multiple different angles can get shots fired towards you. And speaking of PG, they were sitting in third coming into last week. They're all the way down, I believe, in 8th or 9th place now. They didn't realize it was that have a good week last week, so we'll have to wait and see, of course, with this week unfolding, whether they can reclaim their spot in the top. And now Zoekt Een Naam on our screens. I had a bit of a chat with one of their players earlier today, and I was trying to figure out what exactly is the reason that they've had so great success on Miramar, but kind of fell off on Erangel. And he was telling me that that one of the main things for them right now is that they've been trying to play Erangel as they play Miramar because they've had success with it, and it's clearly, I mean, it's not a thing you can do. It's two very different maps.
Can't replicate it.
Exactly, it's not going to work just by a copy paste over on the other map. So they're really trying to get back into the Erangel groove that we've seen them have before. It's just a matter of them having gotten so used to being good on Miramar, and then maybe doing a bit too many of the same things on, or at least trying to, on Erangel. But look at Se7en here. They just got scared off by Avangar. Where are they headed? Because everything is taken down here.
They're going to be running into potentially other fights that we were just looking at as well. So Se7en needs to be very careful here. This is not a good idea for them.
Avangar as well. Maxis, so look at how openly they're all sitting, honestly. I mean, if NoTech had their eyes up in their direction, that would be 3 guys just sitting still shooting at cars. That would be the easiest knocks in the world. Dangerous to be sitting this one out in the opening. You see Buster now trying to get into the compound. He's just exactly going to get there. 2 guys in the vehicle even. Whew, dark smoke coming out. Scary times.
That is a close one. That's certainly a close one to kick things off, Se7en. And we're saying to you, you're a team that needs to show us your stuff now. And keep on improving, keep on adapting. Now, you were talking about PG18 before. Yeah, they did go down from 3rd to 6th places where they currently sit at the moment. But Besiktas right close to them, same as Desperado. So very easy for that to turn around. If you think of this, you know Moonwolf are on 200 points. Well, PG18 are only on 224.
Such a big, that's the thing. You can say, oh, it's just one placement, sure, but it's also 3 wins. So you might just want to pay a bit of attention to that too. Of course, for the guys out there watching who aren't exactly sure what's at stake here, I mean, for the guys sitting in top 12, they'll be making it to Berlin in the middle of July, and then they'll be playing for a spot at potentially a spot at PEL for the next phase. They'll go up against the bottom 4 teams from PEL from last phase, and then yeah, it's going to be interesting from there on out, and also of course $30,000 on the line.
Now I'll be honest, right? As much as Berlin in July sounds amazing for these guys, take some sunscreen, take some shorts, take some t-shirts, because my God, I saw some of the temperatures over there when the PEL players were talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I think that'd be me literally dying. Like 38 degrees, what is that?
We thought it was warm here in Ukraine.
Yep, no, everyone else is trying to one up this. Like, dude, that's just like, that's where we know there is a problem, when it's that hot at summer.
Another person who's having problems is going to be Fake, because the boom found him on a rotation, took him out, and now the circle shifts up north. Interesting one at that. We got all the George Bull area up there still in play, at least the southern side of it. And we have the Everest site, which has yet really to be taken. It's not normally a place you see teams commit to early on. You'll have a player that goes up there to scout and look for a position elsewhere, but you rarely ever see teams hard commit to it early on in the game, so it's hard to play from through.
Yes.
There's a chase going on here. Zero wanting to get a bit of revenge. Not really going to happen, though, and tons of people now starting their rotation shootings all over the place.
Rotation fights are going to be the name of the game, and it's 4 AKs, Ronnie and Havoki, that find themselves both going down to the Northern Lights team. Good setup here with Quizzy spraying them down. Perfectix right up close and personal. And they're hoping some more might try and make it across. But Northwest, he's already jumped out the car, and he's got Hicksties just behind him to try and back him up. But this is a fight you guys really want to commit to now. Can you find a way to get out of this?
You need to get it over quickly too, because they are miles down south, and they have a tough rotation coming in, because the entire southern side of the circle that they'll be rotating into, well, I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot up for grabs. Sure, you have one compound down there, but you want to set yourself up for future rotations too.
With 9 trying to play the long distance game. Able to hit one shot, but won't get any much more than that. You see Perfectix still taking shots through the smokes, wanting to clear out the remaining 2 4AK players on the mini screen down below.
And they just need to get this fight over with quickly. And if they feel like they're staling at some point or stalling, then they need to just get going.
Now okay, bro's been knocked. No, this is not what you... Now this is where you go, okay, probably a good idea to get out of here and just run. Like, we've taken the first 2 kills, we've got the upper hand in this, but how much are we going to waste time-wise, and also the ability to hold on as a team here and potentially lose a player? Perfectix, he still wants to clear this out. They're very hungry for these kills. They know the points matter, but you're actually in a really good spot compared to most teams. You're in 3rd place with 261 points at the moment. I know we say every game counts, but also smart plays are key as well. Quizzy getting a nade out. They now know where Nixties is. He's seen where the nade's gone off from. Perfectix still trying to run around to him. They will finish him off, so Angry Kids will be the first team out in 15th place. Now, okay, Northern Lights, you did it. You won it. The blue is closing in on you. Yes, it doesn't do much damage. You're going to get some extra loot to push up on. But there is a world that goes the other way. Sometimes you've got to take risks.
Fortunately, it worked out for them. And for 4AK, I mean, that's just a big old punch in the gut. They have not been able to bounce back. Every time they've had something of a good performance, boom, immediate games back-to-back with low placements. I mean, it's just unfortunate to see how well they were playing in the group stages when they came off of military base, when they looted out in the north.
So good.
And all of a sudden, things are just not panning out for them at all. And honestly, these guys, I mean, they're used to being the military team, right? Now they're fighting their military, I guess you can say, opponents in Northern Lights, and they did not manage to do a whole lot of damage.
And Winside got a nice position here. Can see over the fields, look across on all the sides, and they've got We Need a Home in the houses in front of them. Avangar, they've still stuck to around the similar position, just around Everest, no one on top of it yet. I kind of like the idea, though. I think if just Avangar sat up on Everest, shooting on down to everyone else that comes near him.
Well, I mean, it works, and I like the split they have now that they're prepared for rotations on all sides. If it goes south, Target Max is always a compound. If it goes anywhere center up on Everest, Noctiv is sitting there, and you have Aspirin sitting all the way further up north. So they have space on all sides, and Everest essentially is a river when it comes to things you don't want to rotate through. Right now, Circle goes south. I would assume to see Aspirin rotate down towards Noctiv. They go together down to Maxis on Tuck, and then they can rotate out from there.
So overall, good circle control for them.
Yeah.
No other teams even got close to them for this circle as the new one pops. Northern Lights going to go for a hard rotation all the way across the western side and fight their way in. But at least this means that no one who may have been expecting to come through the south, come through a normal rotation off the back of military, will be looking out for them.
I got Edelweiss is also stuck out in the field. You can see him thrown on the rug out there. Like, I just got me. I wanted to come with you, but didn't happen. Tamil, he's going to get himself a knock on to rip. He as well was way up there with kills in the last week. A really, really good performance from him on an individual level. He'll, of course, look to bounce straight on back to the killing
fields?
mood. Keep killing people.
Well, more kills are coming in. It's Ultra who's going to do it this time, and I'm guessing, did he get that in a car?
Yeah.
Yeah, blown them up. And that'll be an easy one for him to pick up. So that's 2 kills found, and they already had Rip 9 on the floor as well.
We'll see Simsy trying to well, stay outside. Don't want to let his teammates get pinned in the compound. Should the team be able to position himself up and above? It's a dangerous compound to play from this one. You have a lot of vision out into the fields, but you need a player like Simsy to make sure that no one is able to push it around. And you saw that's what happened, Tamil. As soon as that player came up and above them, Rip 9 to begin with, they had to send him up immediately to take him out and make sure they couldn't contain them.
Misse there was looking up at Everest. He spotted out the Avangar players. He's going to try and get rid of their vehicles as well.
Boop. Mission accomplished.
And it makes sense. Avangar are going to just control Everest, so let's make their journey down harder if they do manage to do it. Why not? They've got We Need a Home's final 2 players close by to them.
I mean, we talked about it with Quarry. It's the exact same, if not even more of a factor when you bring it to Everest, right? You have to get down this mountain eventually, and the harder your opponents can make it for you, well, the better off they are.
Now then, they had that fight with no tag team that just ended up in a stalemate. They're still close to each other. Yeah. Very close to each other here. But the fight is not going to continue just yet. They're going to wait probably until the next rotation comes in. It's Donator here trying to catch Northern Lights players on their rotation in. They've come in all the way down from the south. Worked all the way around the west-hand side and come back up. Now they're trying to push their way in, and they're going to push their way in style. Donator's going to be the first one getting knocked, and this will give Northern Lights a chance to push. Yeah, do they want to push up into those fields? So that's a big question. They'll most likely be visible to compounds here and there, should they want to make that run up. And I think they're going to want to get at least one more knock in before they would want to commit to a push up into the open like that. They're on the edge of the circle, and right now I think they're just waiting for that new one to pop so they can make sure whether the eventual push into the open like that will be worth it or not. And Winside's one of those teams can certainly keep a team like Northern Lights at bay. The circle stays over Everest a bit here. We've got Gatka included as well. We've gone more towards the north and west, though.
I want to see who has scouted the compound in the east. People have had to scout the compound in the east. It was taken early. They moved out really, really quickly. 2-7, I believe it was, at that one point. Also, was PG. There was one PG player sitting on the eastern compound for a little while. Teams would have had to scout, and you can see no tag. They're moving immediately. And of course, if you guys wonder why we know when it's that no tag we're looking at, it's because we have the map stream up as well. So do make sure to go into PEL_Esports_map. And well, I mean, if you have 2 minds, just throw them both out there.
Well, Rita's going to throw 2 UO on the floor, but that's only 1 so far. She's got Rip 9 with her, but it's how they're going to try and take this fight, because this isn't going to be an easy one. You've got Quickmath in front of you. You've got Avangar around you as well. Hopefully they might continue their fight on and find themselves getting carried away, which means We Need a Home can get involved in this.
I was going to say that's the best hope, like dream scenario for We Need a Home, that the other 2 teams will start fighting each other and hopefully they can slip on out somehow, or maybe just get the final kill in one of them. And then speaking of final kills, wow, that was a nade right on the money.
Gifted Rue did well to get out of that one. He's still, you just watch him drive off in the burning car, jumps out, takes some additional damage, but he has got a hill to hide behind. Proned up straight away, but more shots are coming out towards him. And Gifted Rue, I don't fancy your chances, my friend. Lux will take you out, and Winside will be out in 14.
He's going to go down, and as we talked about just before, potentially Quickmath and Avangar would continue fighting, and indeed that's what happened. Se7en has gone down, Target's going to get finished off too, and now Noctiv and Maxiso alone on the mountaintop have multiple players to deal with, because Riddle have just made their presence known over here as well.
Yeah, Riddle though, they don't have any position to fight from here. They're only just working their way up to it. Maybe they didn't realize just how many teams were here as Maxizor.
He only hits that one. You know?
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you were ready for that, because I'm thinking this is not Maxizor that I know. That's it, Maxizor. Yeah, just tap out. There we go.
Oh, and he gets knocked, and he didn't even get the finish off either.
Oh no!
Misa gets the finish off, and he gets knocked in return. In all fairness, he did commit really, really hard to finishing off that player.
He was moving well with the bolt and just stopped once he pulled out his M4. He was not going to be doing that. Oh dear. Sometimes that's just the way it goes, and this will help Quickmath rack up 4 kills to kick things off. Now that will put them above Moonwolf straight away, just off kills. Yes, it's only 1 placement. Yes, it's only 1 point they needed. As Vatsku, he's jumped onto Everett, and Avangar are so under pressure now, and Avangar are eliminated, ripped apart, pulled down from the top of Everest, and there's still Riddle, Quickmath, and We Need a Home, as they've just gone down as well.
Zoekt Een Naam knew they needed to rotate, and they did it so smart. We'll get back to that in just a short moment, but PG now up against Tornado Energy. There's only room for so many players in Gatka, and they sure want to take out their opponents in Tornado Energy. Yannick has gone down already. Ooh, that nade is going to be a close one too. But seems like they're sticking to it, at least for now.
D's trying to push up in the other building, see if maybe they overextend or put themselves in front of the window. Nade's going up. Simsy tapping away here as well, going off onto this other side of the fight. Man, this northwestern side, Northern Lights, Besiktas, Quickmath, Riddle, Zen, Gamerlegion, what on earth?
Zoekt Een Naam, they played it so smart. They saw no tag team go up and take the compound I talked about. They're still there right now. Before, and they were like, what do we play here? Then they start seeing Avangar players getting knocked on the hilltop, and they knew this is our chance to push up north. And that's why I said you can never commit to that mountain too early. There's simply too many angles, even when you're 3 or 4 guys up and alive, to hold for you. And I mean, fortunately for Zoekt Een Naam, they timed that push super well. Now Simsy, well, I mean, he's kind of by himself down. He has the help on the edge on the left side of the road, but they're trying to really contain Northern Lights in this building.
Northern Lights have nowhere to look, nowhere to turn. Nades are going out. Simsy was trying to avoid him, but he finds himself being taken down to the ground. Tomil's able to provide some cover. Ultra's in there as well. He's spraying out. Look at the shots he's landing. Tomil continuing to get the knocks on to play. The Deep is now stuck in the hut on his own. He's being pushed. There's only a small pixel for him to see from. Ultra looking to hold on to this. Doesn't want to overcommit and lose himself out here. Continues to pre-fire the positions. Goes round, does a lot more damage. Now they're both there, and that's going to be it. Tomil runs around the corner, running and spraying, and finishes off Northern Lights.
Tomil gets the triple, but it was a team effort all the way through. Really great effort. Ultra, he was holding those angles. He was playing it so smart, never overcommitted. You saw he never wanted to go inside that building until he knew for a fact Tomil was there to back him up. Yeah. Really, really smart. Really, really focused play from the Besiktas team right there.
I really respect that. Only losing Simsy and everyone else able to kick it and continue to push forward on it, and they've got a huge amount of good ground they can cover now. And actually, Simsy didn't get taken down.
Clip! That was a headshot. That's some distance to it too.
We said he'd been quiet, so this is great. We get to see him step back up again. Clip doing what he can do best.
They just need a little bit of Moonwolf not being here, and that's the motivation that they needed.
Oh, these nades that Page is trying to get out towards Insolento. He's like, okay, there we go. Finally lands him. Nice stuff from Page.
So Clip shoots one uphill 300 meters, and Page throws one downhill 300 meters. That's we got an interesting game in front of us here, guys.
I just wanted to point out as well, Besiktas managed to save Simsy. There was a smoke on top of him, and they've brought him back up. So they have 4 players alive going into this as well. And they've grabbed one of the 2 compounds that are within the circle.
Exactly. They've been able to keep the compound, even though they all pushed out to try and get the control of Northern Lights. No one was in a position to really do a proper push down towards them. So really great play coming in. And also, we got Gamerlegion still in the mix. We haven't made our way into placement points just yet, but with 3 guys up, potentially, should they be able to get the res on Hemster? There's a chance, but look at the nades coming in now from No Tag.
Juicy nades, and then Give It is there to get the tags. He's going to be getting the knocks and going to continue to try and take him down. He's pushing forward on this. Vex is just over the hill, hiding behind the rock by the looks of it, and instantly Gamerlegion out in 9th. No tag team sending it to him.
So 0-point game for our current first place team. That's going to be a tough one for them. We'll see if they can bounce back in the last 2 games over the day. Now Circle does pop, and it sent us up, so both the compounds are still going to be in, but all these teams on the edge is going to have a hard time trying to pinpoint exactly what their, what their gate to this next circle will be, because there's not going to be a lot of space to move.
Yeah, so many teams are going to end up fighting each other before they've even got into the circle as well, because they're well aware of where each team currently sits. PG18, they're going to find Example, which puts Tornado out in 8th.
It's going to go down here too. Yorn is still alive, and he just has to somehow let them focus on something else. But I think both Besiktas and Zoekt Een Naam at this point are very committed to trying to eliminate that last player. They do not want to have a sneaky snake crawling around behind, being seen so many times, the damage it can do. And speaking of damage, O'Connell peeking over the top takes Page down to half HP, but not a whole lot more comes off of it.
So many uphill battles being fought here. Zen now are going to try and take down No Tag Team. Give It pops his head up, and instantly he gets tagged up. T-Bone's not missing nice shots like that. And you see this. If he can push up around the side, he's going to be able to get at least some sort of a flank that they may not be expecting. 8
kills for Zoekt Een Naam already as well. Really good way to start off the game. We talked about coming into it how hard of a time they've had really accumulating points on Erangel lately. So this is a good break for them. Iowa goes down. Page is there to help out though, but he goes down too.
Ultra's the one who's going to be able to do it, though, so not any of the No Tag Team players. Now Zen are under pressure. O'Connell being fired at, and he's just trying to run away. He does not want to get involved in this. He wants to get closer to Aros and have some cover fire provided for him.
Yorda's trying to sneak on forward. He got the finish of on towards Page. So some sort of points collected for him. T-Bone now by himself goes down and out. Plenty of kills, though, accumulated for the guys, and they finish off in 7th place. So 9-point game for Zoekt Een Naam. They should be satisfied with that.
Riddle have gone down as well. They'll take that 6th position. PG18 have done such a good job here because they wiped out Example. They managed to come through down on the south. They're just holding this eastern side. They know where Desperados are. They know where Se7en are. Yep. That means they can just sit here and wait for it to go down because Desperado is so focused forward and their compound is very tiny.
You can see, I mean, the fact that Se7en is still in this game and the fact that Quickmath got as many kills as they did early on, that's going to be a big old frustration coming in the direction of Moonwolf. 4 guys live in 7. There's no saying what they can do here.
They haven't been as active, though, this time around.
Yeah, they've had the compound from early on. And again, one of those compounds where you just can't do a whole lot from when it comes to peeking out. You can see every time Frank goes up, people force him back down towards the buildings. At least they have the buildings, though.
Exactly. They've got the cover, and they're actually going to find the knock onto Dees, who was the player closest pushed up onto their compound. And I say their compound's got smaller. It is slowly being cut off by the circle. Can they hang in there any longer? Because it is going to pop very soon. As Kramik will take down Dees, no problem. Oh, and it goes directly over Besiktas, who now have a lot of control here.
Yeah, question is whether Besiktas want to commit all 4 guys into the building at this point, or if they actually want to play it differently. Simsi has already crossed the road, and I actually kind of like this, because having to cross this road eventually will be extremely difficult. They do need to make sure no one's sitting above them, though.
You know, it doesn't matter which team you are, which player you are. The moment you pop out, there are bullets coming towards you. Besiktas are the only ones with a decent position, and they're already moving away from their compound a bit here. Simsy's gone for a more central position on the circle, and we see Tomwell and Ultra pushing up on the north, but do they spread themselves too thinly here, Toby?
No, I like this. I really like this play. They need to take the control. They cannot, as I said before, it's a great compound to have for the cover, but it's a really hard place to leave if you get pinned inside. No tag, they're going to go down and out. 7 continuing to rack up points, and they just made their rotation, well, I mean, a little bit little bit easier, but it's not all settled just yet.
No, nothing is guaranteed. Desperado, they've kept it quiet, but they've kept themselves in a strong position. They've also picked up the supply crate that was dropped down to the south. PJG's going to work their way in, and they want to take this fight to 7. They're going to start off really strong here. Frank's going to try to provide the cover fire. Does manage to get the knock in return, but it's now about keeping your players up as this circle begins to come in.
Great play from Frank to keep his team up in there. Buster and Edelweiss had already pushed up the hill. They took out no tag. And they need them back down there again. Kravik is going to go down, but Naleb takes one to the face, and Simsi secures it. 10 kills now for Besiktas. Important kill coming in from him, because he was all by himself on this side of the road. Now Ultra and Tommel have both made it over here too.
I love it. The ghost vehicle pushing forward after Naleb's head's been ripped clear out of it and then blown up, just running away from him in fire. Desperados, though, they need to be very cautious at this point.
Yeah.
You've had this southern side, you've picked yourself up a nice crate, but now you have to be able to take the fight. And if you want to pick up a good amount of kills, you have 1 so far. You've got 7 and Besiktas to take down.
Really, really good game potentially for them, whether they get the win or not. There's just some placement points accumulated, so a good way for Desperados to start off the day. Sure, they didn't get a lot of kills, but they were on the quiet side of things, and it's paid off for them up until this point.
Throwing out the grenades, worried that there could be a sneaky snake around them. Rightly so, right? They've been down in the south for so long now, they don't actually have the information.
They have very little, if any, info at all. I mean, sure, they know that there are people over by the compound and they have people in the east, but because of the terrain here, you can see Calvin, he has no eyes in the direction. All you can do is wait for 7 to, well, I mean, potentially peek over towards this side of the road.
Simsi holding a very tight angle against the Dacia. I respect it in case anyone tries to go in front of him. He's the forward position. He's the one dead center. So when the next circle does pop, it'll land pretty much dead on him. Lux is still in the compound, got cover, can push in. Ultra and Tom Hill just on the other side. So really nice position to be had here, where both the other teams are more grouped up in a sense.
Nobody wants to really aggress right now, and everyone's almost inside the circle too. Lux is going to be really the only one who has to leave. Simsi now did get knocked. That's unfortunate, because he was a little isolated. And I don't think anyone's want to commit to the rest, because they know as soon as they go over there, nades are going to start flying in that direction too. So that should be a freebie for whoever wants to throw them in that direction.
They've already placed some smokes down, so
yeah, but he's down
trying to bait
already.
stuff out.
Second knock too.
Yeah, and then they were picked apart. No problem at all there for Desperado to pick up another kill, but it's the rest that they're going to have to try and find. 7 are just not moving and engaging on this. They are completely prone and waiting.
Lux, he's playing double. This is a rare thing to see. He's playing double DMRs. He's playing SLR and Mini 14. Not something you see very often, but came into use here at least. I'm assuming he has an M4 or something lying around somewhere in that building, but maybe that's the start of a new meta. M14 up close, just spam that laser gun.
Testing a new style out, or maybe just he thought it would work best for where we were in terms of how this has ended up to go as Ultra. He saw that move and he took the shot and he lands the headshot. Can we get any nades off? He doesn't have any himself, but maybe his teammates do, because yes, they could get the res in here, but either way, this is going to be so difficult for 7 to deal with now.
Circle's going to start closing in just a couple of seconds, and it's not going to be easy for 7. That knock came in at a really bad time, because you can see now it allowed for Desperados to push on forward. They had the containment, but no longer nades are flying forward, and that should be Edelweiss. Yep, there's, I mean, even with the nades, even though they didn't take him down immediately, they do not want to commit to this at this point. Gold on Mensa spots when he gets the first one in there. Frank, though, still prone down on the backside.
And look where Lux is going. He was the last one out. He's pushing straight on this. He's going to go in for the kill. Tom Hill running around the side, being tagged up quite heavily here, but will just duck down and keep himself alive. Ultra pushed up on the car. He's going to start shooting, but he takes a lot of damage his way. These small engagements have not worked out so far for Besiktas. It's Lux who's going to have to come up huge.
Desperado's hard committed to the finish up on towards 7, and all of a sudden it's going the other way around. Lux tried to push on forward, didn't work out for him. And somehow it's actually Besiktas now of all teams that are having the worst in this one. Just one player left alive.
Do they have any idea how far Tom Hill has got around this, though? He's up. He's not hiding. He may just want to prone down. He's hoping he can probably find someone trying to run forward, but most players have opted straight away for the prone position.
Yeah.
Frank is on his own. Ultra and Tom will live, but Ultra's going to bleed out very soon.
At this point for Tom, I think it's a fight for second. I mean, see if you can have, like, try and hope that Frank gets finished off before you have to take the fight with Desperados, because they know the area that he's in. They know exactly where Frank is, so I think for Tom, it's just a matter of trying to buy his time here.
There you go. Ultra goes down. No problems at all. Colder than the one to do it. Frank will be found as well. So now it's up to Tom Hill. He pokes up and he goes down. Desperado will take the win. A 6-kill game at that. But it's Besiktas who look strong consistently throughout every side of that. It was really good from them.
I mean, just from the very start to the end, their rotations were a point. You saw with the way they engaged when they pushed out towards Northern Lights. They just came in really, really confident, and every single engagement they took was like, yeah, that's Besiktas I've seen before.
Did work out for sure. Just at that end part, though, obviously, where Simsy got picked off, and then we saw Lux try and work around the side. They just didn't seem to, I think, when it came down to those final fights, they weren't hitting the same type of shots. Something was just a little bit off it, because Desperado instantly, as soon as they got fired on, all stood up, all ready for it, and they went to take him down.
I was going to say, I mean, one thing is that that Besiktas might not have hit the shots that they wanted to land, but overall it was just Desperados in a really tough situations where they arguably overcommitted a bit too much to finish off 7, managed to turn it around and just land those shots on towards Besiktas. So it just goes to show the skill level of the Desperados players too. Really impressive. But a team we got to highlight too is Zoekt Een Naam. Their rotations early game as well, really, really well played. But once it came to making the maneuver down from that hillside, well, we've talked about it so many times before, you're exposed to one angle or another when you're up there, and it became too much for them. But really, really good performance. Got themselves a good placement and 8 kills with it too.
Yeah, I think 7 can be very happy with how that turned out, all things considered. Especially considering to get 8 kills when you weren't fighting until zone 6. Like, they didn't have a single kill until that point.
And that's really, really good for 7. They were the team that were saying, well, it just need 25 points to tie things with Moonwolf. Well, now you're getting real damn close up there because you got yourself a 3rd place with it as well. So a really good game for them. And, of course, Northern Lights, not a whole lot going their direction. They did get the 4 kills early on. Oh, 7 kills. What am I saying here? I only thought they got the 4 kills, but no, they kept on fighting. So 7-kill game, even though they were taken out early by this Shack. 7 points a game. It's a really good performance.
You'll take it, won't you? You'll take it any day. Now, what's going to be very interesting is Besiktas, they dropped down on the standings overall last week. But this game's going to help them massively with the kills and stuff they managed to pull off there. But it's more now for me, can you keep it up again, boys? Because we've seen this. We've seen Besiktas say, we are still knowing what we're doing. We have an idea of how to play these up. We are smart players. We can hit our shots. And then it slows down just a little bit too much for me sometimes. And I see them in a position where it's not the Besiktas we know and love.
I think what we just saw from Besiktas now is the style that at least I'm hoping that we'll get to see for the rest of the day. I mean, this worked for them. Sure, it was position-based, and they had that compound for a while, but they never just committed to the compound and said, oh, we have a hard cover, we can just chill here. No, they knew we have to constantly be active in order to get any points in this game, and they did. Look at that, 17 points overall.
17 points and only walking away with the 2nd place at the end just shows the power of those kills when it comes to it. Desperado are going to be very happy with that because considering how that game went for them, they were in a tough spot down in the south. 7 then, comfortably getting 8 kills now, more like the 7 we're used to seeing. And even with Zen, right, you go out in the end in, what, 7th place they went out in, and they still got 7 kills, but she's jumped all that way up to the top. And remember, guys, the reason we don't have 16 teams on here is because Moonwolf sadly had to forfeit that game. Maybe we'll see them next game. We'll wait and see. We'll wait to be updated in total. But it would be a good thing, guys. Moonwolf, if any of you guys are still watching, maybe the other 2 players that are there, come back. Try and make it work.
Come back, guys. Fix electricity.
Set a bike up. You know, one of them exercise bikes like we have in our apartment, Toby. They can just be running for their teammates.
I guess they can be all kinds of happy that Avangar didn't manage to pull off anything bigger because you can see they are sitting down there now with 7 creeping on in Avangar. There's still a bit of a gap down, but look at Avangar as well and Winside tied at 65, 165 that is. That is scary. Riddle, they're down there. They got themselves a placement point and I believe 1 kill to it as well. But still, I mean, overall, things are getting scary close. And then we need a home and 4AK. I don't want to rule them out because there's still plenty of games. I'm just not seeing anything from them at all.
This has been the problem. We get a 1 or 2 good games every now and again from We Need a Home and 4AK. We see some individual great ability. Ronnie, he stands out for me as being a solid, aggressive player, but having the good understanding of how he can work out with his team. But sadly, as a whole unit, as a whole team front, when they come up against some of the other teams, they just don't deliver on the same way.
And the thing is, I can't really put it to one thing being, oh, their rotations are not working, or their kills are not working, because all of a sudden you'll see them take a 4v4 fight on Miramar, and they just annihilate their opponent. You're like, where did that come from?
Can we have more of that, please?
Yeah, next game you see them do the smartest backdoor rotations, and you're like, that is such a smart play. They just can't seem to combine the things in one game and get good performances off of it.
Well, Toby, we've got 2 more games to come your way, ladies and gentlemen, so do not go anywhere. We'll be back with more Erangel action soon, and hopefully Moonwolf will be back.